Soaring Eagles, developing breeds of excellence.
Ladies and gentlemen, today on the Soaring Eagles episode, we are more than privileged to be discussing one of life's most challenging topics, which is time management and prioritization. I am Grace Ada Okafor. With me here in the studio is someone competent to give us the viable tools used to effectively prioritize our time. And he will do justice to his introduction. Someone I know very competent to treat this topic, handle this topic, and give you all that you need in able to prioritize your time. Please, ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Mr. Sam Semako.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Nice meeting you too.
Thank you so
For the
much,
first
sir.
time.
It's an honor, too. Thank you so much. Do you mind introducing yourself in details?
Okay, my name is Sam Semako Tinodu. I was telling someone off camera that, of course, my name is Sam Semako, but my surname is Tinodu. Most people don't know that part.
Wow.
Yes, well, because I do radio, I do some other things. People just know me as Sam Semako. So, of course, I'm a career coach. I'm a content creation coach. What else do I do? I'm a radio presenter. What else do I do? Well, I do bits of business here and there. What else do I do? I do so many things.
I think that's why I said you're very competent to handle
I
this
do so
topic,
many
because
things,
you must
really.
you must have studied how to prioritize your time, and able to be so in order to be effective in all of these areas that you are an entrepreneur in all of these areas.
Okay, well, I try to manage my time.
Thank you very much.
But of course, well, I'm still trying.
Yeah, you're human. You're human.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we're really thrilled, we are honored, and we count it a privilege to have you with us here in the session. And we know that you'll be able to do justice to our topic today. Right now, let's dive right in. Could you elucidate the term priority with regards to time management?
Priority. Okay. Basically, I like to make things simple, really.
Yeah.
I like, well, they call me Simple Sam too. I like to make things simple. It's just basically um, taking note of what is important and what is of less important, what you need to take off for your program, what is more important to you, then you rate them accordingly to the least important. Then that's the way I would define it.
And with this, if we're able to do this, we would realize that some things are really shouldn't even be in the list of tasks
True.
we need to execute.
True.
Wonderful.
True.
So why is prioritizing of tasks even essential?
Why is it?
Why is it essential?
The truth is that if you want to live your dreams, if you want to fulfill your goals, you've got to prioritize. You've got to do that because distractions are everywhere. You can't run away from that. We have distractions everywhere. In school, distraction, even in your bedroom, distractions, even in your study room, distractions, on the road, distractions. So, social media.
Of
Yeah,
course, it's a big
we've
one.
got to talk about
It's a
that.
big one.
Social media, of course. We still talk about that. I was somewhere today. I was at a book review, and we got to that part, and we're talking about phone, and I had to tell them that this morning, in fact, this week, I have two devices. That's phone now.
Okay.
There's one I use when I go to the studio to monitor what's happening on social media. Then there's one I use to stream.
Okay.
So, and that streaming one, I have my Bible there. I have most of my tools there. Then the other one, recently I decided to download the Bible, the same Bible, to that
The
phone.
second phone, yeah.
Yes. So, and this morning when I woke up and I wanted to do my personal devotion, so the next thing was to pick that particular phone. That's my normal phone.
Yeah,
that
for
I
the Bible.
use. Yes. So, but I told myself, guy, pick
The
the
second
other phone.
Yeah.
And that was why I downloaded the Bible there so that I can take off this.
Yeah.
And the moment I pick that, notifications will come. Of course, no sound. My phone, no sound. Even call. That's the way I prefer to check my phone rather than go for the sound or the sound trigger me to check my phone. No. For years, it has always been like that. That's for me. For somebody else might not be. And it helps me. Yeah, so I decided to pick the other device and do my personal devotion with it rather than this, because I know the moment I pick that, distraction might come. So this for you to fulfill your goals, and you need to prioritize. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
that's a word I struggle I
Prioritize.
struggle with.
Yeah.
Yes, then so that you can avoid distraction. Distractions are everywhere, right? And you need to do that to fulfill your goals and live your dreams. Very important.
That would bring me to the very huge question of how then do I, since you've mentioned it is very essential, very important
Mhm.
in order to achieve my goal, how then do I prioritize my tasks, multiple tasks when I have a deadline?
When you have a deadline, okay, even without deadline, you can actually set deadlines for yourself, because and when it comes to your goals too, of course you have to have deadline, timeline. We might call it timeline. In business world they might say deadline.
Mm.
Yeah, or some people too still say timeline. You need to have timeline for achievement of your goals or the target you have for yourself. um Personally,
Yeah.
there are actually different tools. Maybe I know we might still get to some of those. Maybe I might have a question like that. There are
Yeah.
actually different tools different people use for time management.
Yeah.
I personally, I don't go with most of those tools. I do
What works for
simple,
you?
yes, I do what works for me.
Mm.
And one of the things that works for me is a list. A list work for me. These are the things I want to do for today, and I tick them off as I go by. I tick
Okay.
them off as I go by. And it's possible. I talked about distraction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are distractions, and sometimes you might have some urgent calls, or some things might creep in. Let's as
Emergencies.
emergencies. Let's assume one of my mentors, maybe he's not in this town and he comes into town,
Mm.
and I needed to do this interview.
Mm.
I might need to say, if we're talking about prioritizing,
Prioritizing
right?
our task. Yeah.
I might tell myself,
Yeah.
seeing that my mentor now, it's very important
Mm.
because he will leave town tomorrow morning. I
Exactly.
might need to shelve
Yeah.
this interview, because that is, you remember I said most important, least important. For
Mm-hmm.
me, at this moment, that might be the most important thing for me. Meeting with my mentor,
Exactly.
right? Or meeting with my coach is most important at this time, because he is leaving town tomorrow.
Exactly.
Then this can wait. This can wait. And that's the what I just said now. Is a very simple tool for time management, right? But of course, people sometimes you hear that, but you don't even know it's a simple tool for time
Mm.
management. Sometimes I can tell myself this can wait, right? I hope I'm still within your question.
Exactly. Not
Sometimes I
just
can,
that particular example you mentioned, but
yeah,
whatever it is that you have an emergency that is pressing, the second on your list could always be the third
yes,
eventually because
yes,
you have something that just
yes, and you
brings.
need to know that, and this leads to whether it's more important or not, right? So once you know that, for me, I can say this can wait, and it has to wait for another thing, because it's more important, or the immediacy.
Exactly.
Sometimes immediacy determines whether that particular goal or that target, that goal you want to achieve for that day, needs to wait or it needs to
Thank
go,
you
right?
for really simplifying it and not make it look cumbersome like the 7 Ds, the 5 Ps that one
Yeah,
needs to do.
the truth is that some people actually use, they might decide to create. The truth is that you can create any tool for yourself. Yeah, when you talk about, there is one called Pomodoro. Have you heard about that?
It's sounding new.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Um, the truth is that people create tools. You
That
can actually
works,
create
that fits
tools.
them.
Yes, you can create tools for yourself. Somebody can just be using this can wait, this cannot wait. You can draw a table, this can wait, this cannot wait. And this cannot wait is written here, and this can wait for today. Maybe so many things calling for your attention, and you decide to do this can wait, this cannot wait,
Okay.
right? This can wait for tomorrow, this can wait for next week. It's a simple tool. Like I
Yeah.
told you, I like simple things. I
Yeah.
like to simplify things. That is a tool, and you can create any tool for yourself. Yes, you can also go online and search for tools. This is something simple I teach graduates. I tell them that there are tools for everything. All you need to do is just go to your Chrome or any of your browser,
Yeah.
type in whatsoever it is, plus tool,
Wow.
right? For, let's say, tailoring now. Just type in tailoring tools, time management tools,
So
anything you are.
self-discipline
Yes,
tools,
self-discipline tools,
addiction recovery tools,
addiction recovery tools, anything. Just
global
add
warming.
tools to it, and you will see so many tools that you can use. Then on your, what's it called now, Play Store,
Yeah.
or iOS Store,
Mm.
just type in the same thing,
Hmm.
and you will find enough tools to use for your life regarding time management. Right? There are enough tools there. Then you can also create your own tools.
Okay, you mentioned something very very salient. You mentioned something very salient, and that would be I think the power of all you said is the potency lies in applying those tools. So, what would you consider the most time wasting habit of especially young people? I know with professionals, I mean they have the tools at their disposal, but they are not employing it to counter. I mean whatever their challenge with regards to not being able to effectively manage their time. But let's talk about young people who feel, well, these are work. So what would you consider as, or what would you mention as the time wasting habits? Permit me to add the most time wasting habits of teenagers, young people that hinder them from optimal productivity.
Time wasting habits or time wasters.
Time wasters. Thank you.
Maybe we say time wasters, right? So one of the things I'll say is a time waster. It's funny, this particular one, the first one I want to talk about.
Okay.
Friends.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Friends, right?
Mm.
Friends can waste your time.
Physical or online?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Friends can waste your time in chatting, in going to places that are not relevant to your dream. I remember many years ago I used to say that anyone or anything that is not pointing you to your future
The
is
time
a
waster.
distraction.
Of course, it is.
Is a distraction. So it's also a time waster,
Mm.
right? Anything or anyone who is not pointing you to the direction of your goal or your dream or your vision or your ministry, it's a time waster. So friends that take up your time, they are wasting your time, right? Of course, there are time. I have friends, right?
Of course,
I
you
have
do.
friends, and I spend time with friends.
Yeah.
I know the time when to spend time with friends, and I know when to spend time with my books. I know when to spend time with my wife. I know when to spend time alone, right? So I know all those times, and there are times when a friend, of course, because peer influence, a friend will say, let's go to this place, and that time is a time to read, right? Tell the friend, I'm sorry, I won't be able to. You don't even need to say, I need to read now. Because that's when you say, oh, so you want to read, because you want to read, you can't even follow me to this place, right? You don't even need to tell that person, I need to read, because that's your time. You can schedule all your activities, right? Especially when we're in secondary school, then you have certain times for different things, right? But of course, when you're on your own,
it becomes difficult.
Well, it does, but you can actually do that for
It's
yourself.
self-discipline.
Yes, because I remember that the moment we got out of secondary school is as if you have free life. You don't necessarily need to schedule right your activities and things like that, but you can do it. It's also a simple tool. Just like saying from 3 to 5, I'm going to read. From 5 to 5:15 to 6 o'clock, I'm going to visit a friend, right?
Yes.
So you can actually use that simple tool. Just map out what you're going to do within certain time. Yeah. So, but back to what we're saying, friends can waste your time. That's number one.
Yeah.
2, This one is, it's all known.
Okay.
Social media. Social media is a time waster, quote and unquote, because I'm always on social media. I'm always creating content on social media. I'm also a social media content creation coach, right? So, but I can say that social media is also a time waster if you don't know how to
Prioritize your
prioritize your
time.
time and social media. So it's also a time waster. What else is a time waster? I'm thinking. Worry is a time waster. Yeah, some people might not think about that, but worry is a time waster. You worry about this, worry about that, whereas you're supposed to get into action, right? Worry is a time waster. And you need to know at the point when you begin to wander off or begin to think about what you can really provide solution to or an answer to. At best, just pray and do what you have to do instead of thinking, how do I do this, how do I do that, how do I do that, you know. So worry is also a time waster. What else is a time waster? I'm trying to think now. I think I should leave it at that three. Maybe if
Because I actually said the most, and this ones you mentioned are. I doubt if there's any circle that won't mention these very three that you mentioned. If there's any circle of young people that won't talk about friends, peer pressure, and especially the social
and
media.
laziness is a time waster.
Of course,
Mm.
of course. Okay, let me wrap by asking how flexible we can, because there is this, we need to have this balance. We need to have this balance of, we have some people whose lives are just boxed, they're stereotypic.
Mm.
It's just this, they don't even have this because they are too glued to whatever, maybe work. People can be addicted to work,
Mhm.
or they are glued to whatever their mission and their purpose and all of that, and they don't have a life outside of that. So what would you call that flexibility? And let me add this, the flexibility to be able to balance the two, and self-care to avoid burnout.
Okay. Let me say this. When I got the invitation, in fact, when I was coming here, um, I thought of Jesus, right? I thought of him, and what actually brought that also was the part I actually read Mark 1 today, and and I went back to his other parts of the scripture that I've read about him, and his particular um, about if he's set to go do. I need to add this, it's very important. Sometimes we are too overwhelmed with so many activities, we are not focused on one. And if you observe his life, you see him, his focus, he's going to this place to do this, that's what he's going to do. Then he will move to another thing, then he will move to another thing. And mind you, we talked about distraction.
Exactly.
Along the line, some other people might come, somebody might come, please heal my child, and things like that. He will stop. He's going somewhere, but he will stop and attend to that. And why is he attending to that? Is in line with his vision, his mission, his goal, right?
Yeah.
So even if something comes as a distraction, we'll still get back to that question. If something comes as a distraction and is in line with your vision, your goal, your dream, you can attend to it, right? You can attend to it. And sometimes some other distraction comes and he moves on. He doesn't give them attention, right? He moves on to what he needs to move on to, right? So I need to say that. So we also need to learn from him.
Mm.
He's focused on one thing, he's focused on it. Because sometimes we feel, I have to. Multitasking is can also be a time waster.
Okay.
Yeah, multitasking is also a time waster for some people. In the end, you don't even get much achieved, right? But if you can, yeah, there are
Jack of
people,
all trade,
yeah,
master of none.
yeah, but there are people who can multitask, especially you women or mothers. But we guys, we are trying, right? We are trying. Yeah, but really, being serious, multitasking can also waste. Yeah.
Mm.
So back to the question, flexibility,
Self-care
self
to
care.
avoid burnout.
Okay, let me start with self care. For personally, I love to take early morning walk.
Oh, wow.
I love to take early
Is that a
morning walk.
ritual or a therapy or just
Um,
for pleasure
yeah,
or
it's a habit.
hobby?
I actually cultivated a habit. Then it's also a therapy for me. Let's say I was boarding over the night, and early
Oh,
morning I take a walk. It's just like what is called catharsis, right?
no.
Unbottling yourself, releasing the emotion, pent up emotion. That helps me a lot, and I do that. Then sometimes in the evening or afternoon, even if I'm at work, sometimes I leave the seat and take a walk outside or go downstairs, take a walk around and come back. For me, that helps a lot. And I think we all need to do that. It's advised that if you've been sitting for a couple of hours, stand up.
Sitting is the new smoking.
Mhm. So you need to stand up, take a walk outside, take
Mm.
fresh, let the air outside hit you or let the sun bath you, right?
Yeah.
It's also very important. It's good for self care.
Mhm.
Very, very important. What is, of course, stretching. Stretching. And I also tell myself, calm down, calm down. Uh, for me, those things are very simple. Some people might not even see sense in them. Sometimes I will voice that out. Sometimes I will not voice it out. It's within me. I say, guy, calm down.
Like I was telling you before
Mhm.
now, I was saying there is a man and then there's the man and then there's the vision. So there is a man, or like my pastor will always say, you are first of all a man before you're a man of God.
Mhm.
So when the man is there, the vision might not
At all.
it might not be, you might not take it to the next generation.
True.
So that self-care that you mentioned is actually crucial in the mission to be, or the vision to be realized.
Mhm.
And
And
then
I spend time alone. Alone.
exactly.
Of course, if you even in that Mark one is still there, right? So there are times Jesus just take. There was a garden he goes to.
Yeah.
Yes, though often it's recorded that he went there to pray, right? And I substituted that pray to reflect,
Meditate.
meditate, read, right? So just sit there alone without doing anything. It's self-care.
Would you
Very,
permit me to ask about having support system? Because especially
yeah,
for
so
men,
yeah,
they are way
exactly.
they have, I mean, they have a load of body, they have family, they have responsibilities, they have workload, and everything is on them. Do you think that having a support system where you can unburden?
Very important to have a support system or confidence,
Yeah.
something like that. We all go through life challenges. We all go through. I go through. Recently, I was saying I was in an event that was last Saturday. Last Saturday, yes, my mentor, one of my mentors, was there, and I told them it's we're over 50 or close to 50, and I said, "Men don't cry, right?
Real
Men,
men. That's the
men,
cliche. Real
yes."
men don't
So, and
cry.
I told them this. I've gone to him before. I've cried before him, right? I've cried before him.
You're rare.
Yes. So there are people you can go to and talk to. All of us need to have such people. But people will complain, when you talk to these people, they share your secret, da 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 da. You should be able to weigh people
Of course.
and know who they over time. How do you get to know people? Over time, you weigh their character, what they say, what they do, and you be able to know them. So there are people I talk with, apart from my mentors, there are colleagues, there are people even lower than me. There are some of my,
Depending on what they can handle.
yes, even some of my mentees, I still talk to them.
That's
I say
wonderful.
onboarding to them because they can, yeah, that's very important. Can they handle it? Are they matured enough to handle that?
Not
And
all
of course,
sensitive matters.
my wife,
Yeah.
right? We talk, and that's why we are mates. That's why we're married, so that we can also talk.
Compliments each
Yes.
other.
So that support system is also very important, and you need to be flexible. You can't be all rigid.
Mm.
Sometimes some people will say, "This is what I'm going to achieve all throughout today."
Come rain, come sunshine.
Yeah, and some things come in, and you say, "No, I'm not going to change." No, you've got to be flexible. You need to know when to stop.
Or
You
take a
need
break.
or take a break. You need to know when to take a break. You need to know when to stop. And you also need to know when not to pursue a vision or a goal. Let me put it that way. Let me not say a vision or a dream. A goal. It might come a point that you might need to say, oh, this is, then that also add up to some strategy or some things you're doing that is not working. There's no point beating a dead horse for it to rise up, for it to ride. It will rise up, right? So if it's not working, go away from it.
Including time wasting friends.
Yes, including time wasting friends. That is important for me. For me, I know where to spend my time. I know people who add to me, and I know people who subtract from me. We all need people you know that you've been added to, right? And when you are with some people, your energy is sapped. We
It
can
dissipates
easily
energy,
detect.
parasitic
Yes,
relationship.
we can easily detect this. I can easily detect this, and I don't spend time. Then complainers,
Yeah.
complainers. Every time they complain about this, they complain about that, they complain about the country, they complain about a co-worker, they complain. I'm very wary of that. Very wary because at the end, when you leave them, you don't. Your energy is
Dissipates.
drained.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm very conscious of that. Then you also need to know, that's a time waster. We just had it.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
be flexible. Be flexible. You can't be rigid also.
I love the fact that you make it so simple that the goal is your mission. I mean, when you've identified your purpose of life, purpose of existence, your purpose in ministry, your purpose of anything, the goal is that mission. So achieving it is there. There will come distractions will come in the way, but then you identify them and know, like you said, which one can wait, which one do I need to attend to, which one do I need to strike out of the list to ensure that the mission is achieved. And even in achieving that goal, that mission, one needs to be flexible because we are human beings and allow yourself to feel sometimes. If you hit a roadblock that you can't just go through, there's another way you can always use to navigate your path. Thank you very much, Mr. Samson Mako. Like I said, my dear viewers, I wasn't mistaken when I said he's more than competent to do this. And you were so generous enough to share your own testimony. I mean, it was a huge one for me when you mentioned that you could lean on someone and cry and pour out, unburden yourself. So, do you have any last words? Who are yours?
Maybe I should still say this. When it comes to time management, prioritizing, for me, one simple framework I also use, which I created, is to spend time with significant part.
No.
Yeah, PIPE, then with S. Okay, Dr.
No.
AK added the S one day while we were on
It's
radio.
pluralized.
And it's also a time management tool. You can call it a time management tool. Yeah, I spend time with significant people. If they are significant to my dream, my vision, my life, I spend time with them. And that's it works for me. If I know you will not add to my life, why waste my time and my life with you?
And you're unapologetical about it.
Unapologetic about it. So I know the people I spend time with, right? Very important. Then secondly, I spend time with significant information. Significant information. I spend time, I read, I consume videos, documentaries that can help my life, right? So that's where I need to spend my time. Spend my time with significant people, right?
Yeah.
Spend my time. So that means I shouldn't spend my time with insignificant people. You can decide to define insignificant in your own ways. Significant for me are the people who add to my life. They enrich me. They add to my knowledge, right? They make me better, right?
Yeah.
When I spend time with them, I get transformed.
Wow.
My mind gets renewed, right? So I spend time with them. So if I'm spending time with those who are not significant, I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my life. Because once you waste your time, you waste your life, right? So the second thing time with significant information.
Mm.
Very vital, right? Because that's what would develop us. That's what would develop you. That's what would develop me. So I need to spend time with information, not just information, right? There are many kinds of information.
Or the ones that count to where you're going to.
Exactly. Those are the ones that are significant.
Yeah.
So you need to spend time with that. Then the third thing is that I spend time in significant places.
That's a huge one. You care to mention?
Significant places, right? They also add to me. For instance, there are some places I walk in because I need inspirations or I need ideas,
Mm.
or maybe in future there might be a place I need to get to or go in, so that now when I spend time there is not unfamiliar. It's right now is unfamiliar, right? But when I spend time there, it becomes familiar. When I get there next time, it's not unfamiliar to me, it's familiar, right? And such places are places I can learn from, right? Places I can learn from, places that can add to me. Of course, a church is a significant place. Church is a
It's a huge
significant
one, yeah.
place. You can't, if you take my church away from my life, right? Because I know what church has added to my life.
And by church, I hope you don't mean a building.
Assembly, yeah, where we go to worship.
Okay.
Yes, where we go to worship and also learn, right? And grow in the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get.
So that has added to me. Of course, school is also a significant place. Educational centers or places are also significant places.
Where
They
you can
develop
learn.
us. Yeah,
Yeah.
spend time there. You can think of other places, right, that can build you up.
Your seminars, your trainings, your events.
Yes. Conversation with Sam Semaku is a significant place, right? So you need to spend time in significant places. Take for instance, I traveled to Lagos. This year they didn't organize anyone. Last year, 2023, right? Okay, I didn't go. 2022, I was in Lagos. I go for that, right? There is a place there in Lagos I go to learn for 1 week. I live just to Lagos because it's a significant place. And you know what? When you are in a significant place, you meet significant people.
And you get significant information. Yeah.
Very important. Then the fourth thing is that you need to spend time in significant events.
Mm-hmm.
Or spend time having significant experiences.
That count.
That count. Let me give you this. I'm going to say might not look significant to some people, but let me say it. Recently, they started testing train ride in Jos, right? It's still happening now.
Okay.
So, and when I got to hear about that, when I saw that on social media, I told myself I'm going to have that experience. I've had train experience from Lagos to Kaduna before, but that's many years ago. And since that time, I've not had that experience again, right? I've also told my kids that they need to have that experience. So when it started, one morning they said the train is going to leave around 7 a.m. I was at home, I woke up and do I have to go? Do I have to go? Do I have to go? Right? But that morning in my devotion, there was a part of the scripture I read, and the lesson that came to me around that time was that you can determine to some extent, you can determine what happens, the kind of experience you have in a day, right? So, and when that came, I told myself, I'm going to have that train ride experience. So, as early as possible, I just got out of the house. I told my wife I'm going. Then I went to the train station and I had that experience, right? It's significant for me. And I think after that, there was another time I told my kids I was somewhere far from town. I told them, go to terminus. I'm going to meet you guys. And we met. They had that experience for the first time.
Wow.
All this while, the train they see is in movies or
in books.
Yes, or books, right? but we decided to have that experience. You can actually decide to give yourself
The
certain kind
outcome.
significant experiences.
Mm.
It adds to your learning, right, and your growth, your personal development, your personal growth. So spend time in giving yourself significant experiences. It will transform your life. Then, or spend time in significant events. That's the E. Then the last one, which is S, while that got in through Dr. Inke while we're talking one day on radio, and he just mentioned his systems. So spend time in significant systems, right? Church or a ministry is a system. Some workplaces are systems, and systems are things that are working and getting results, right? And they can be replicated, right? Results that can be replicated, So spend time in such places, or giving yourself in such systems, rather, right? And before you know it, your life will transform. The truth is that if you spend time with pipes, that's PIPES,
Okay.
you have less time of even thinking, which tool should I use? What do I do in terms of time management and things like that, or prioritizing your tasks and activities? Even in tasks, you can tell yourself, I will only spend time doing significant tasks. So, what is that significant task for you?
Well,
What you are doing right now is significant, right?
It is.
It's a task. So, you've made up your mind that today, for me, if it's not significant, I won't come here. Right? Because why is it significant? Some of the things I will say will bless some lives. And that's my desire.
Absolutely.
That's my goal. That's my dream, that lives get transformed. That's why I'm spending time here. I could be, of course, there are other things that I could, I'm also having an event tomorrow. I'm supposed to send some messages, which I started, right? I know that could wait a bit, right? After this interview, I can still continue, right? If this is maybe the few hours to the event and this interview is coming, I can tell you the interview will have to wait till tomorrow, maybe next tomorrow. Let me send this message now. So that's how I live my life, right? So what are the significant things I need to do today? What are the significant people I need to meet today? What are the significant tasks? What are the significant places? You can, by significance, looking at the importance, you can decide that, I don't need to go to Terminus. I need to go to Bukuru. Bukuru is more significant than going to Terminus.
At this time.
Yeah. If you use this simple spending time with pipe, significant is very important, not just pipe. Significant, or you can replace significant with important. You can replace that significant with any other word that you think will work for you. I must spend time with fantastic people. I must spend time with fantastic information. I must spend time with fantastic places or events or systems. So you can decide to change that significant for and use any word that will suit you there. And if you apply this, your time management will
you'll be to be prioritized.
Yes.
Thank you very much. You've been so, you've delved to the topic like in details, and the one thing that I take huge for me is narrowing down to what works for you in order to achieve that goal. So the significant pipe is just an acronym for significant people, information, places, events, and systems. With this, we've come to the end of the Soaring Eagles talk show on time management and prioritization. I hope you have something that you take home for, and not just to add it to your library of informations, but also implement it so that you can also see how potent it is and be able to come back, to tell us on the Soaring Eagles platforms that these have worked for you. It's our joy, our pleasure, it's our honor that everything we do here on the Soaring Eagles talk show will be replicated in your life, your family, your work sphere, your business, everything, and to make the world a better place. Thank you so much, Mr. Sam Semako. Thank you. We are we are honored to have you, and you've done justice to this. We remain eternally grateful to you. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. See you in the next episode of Soaring Eagles Talk Show. Thanks. Bye.